This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Land acquisition is actually happening.
The Transport Secretary reaches out with hope to the villagers of Sriperumbudur, but the project has a long way to go. The Chief Minister plays the Good Samaritan offers to pay for the treatment of law student Ashok Kumar. It may be the survival of the fittest, but small-time vendors want the centre to do away with their competition called the FDI. Jayalalitha says there's nothing new about the new pump set scheme, calls it just a fancy tool for the DMK's own doing. And if it were not the Brits, it's those good old days. Meet the stoned Indian man in pinstripes from Old Madras. Good evening, this is News Tonight on NDTV Hindu with me, Evelyn Matthew. Here's what's making news in the rest of the country. The Yamuna floods lower-lying areas after non-stop rains in the capital. Jharkhand's drought-hit farmers write to the president for permission to commit suicide. India's top tennis stars confirm that AITA will pay their dues before the big games and they will play for India. Yuki Bambri's silver medal takes the Indian tally at the Youth Olympics to 4 on day 4, but the tennis ace retires hurt. And while the scientists on planet Earth believe the moon is getting smaller, there's no reason to think it would disappear. After NDTV Hindu went ahead with a detailed probe into the feasibility of the proposed greenfield airport at Sriperumbudur and even the necessity for a second airport, the State Transport Secretary has told NDTV Hindu exclusively that the criticism is just too early as the project is in its nascent stages. He said that there will be no land acquisition now as they are still awaiting the ICAO report.
Affecting thousands of farmers and their livelihood is at stake now.
We do not have the requirement for another major airport near Chennai.
Perhaps asking for disaster to happen.
After facing fiery protests and receiving a wide range of criticism over the proposed greenfield airport at Sriperumbudur, the Transport Secretary has assured people that there will be no immediate acquisition of land and that the criticism is too early.
We are taking too many things at a time. First and foremost, it should be clear that there is just a plan. No land acquisition is actually happening.
Even as the AAI had given a green signal to this project and gone ahead with engaging the International Civil Aviation Organization, the government says that it's not basing its decisions on the AAI report alone.
The government is now saying that the green signal given by the Airports Authority of India was only based on a small fact-finding report done by them, and now it is waiting for the International Civil Aviation Organization to submit its feasibility report. So pretty much, for now, the fate of this project lies with the International Civil Aviation Organization. With camera person Sagai Raj, Ramanathan for NDTV Hindu.
And Atulya Misra, the Secretary to the State in the Transport Department, joined us and told us that this project is for the future and will not lead to displacement.
Look, first we should understand that there will be no airport if it really causes concern for the defense or if it is not favorable for the citizens. But any airport if you have, you will require some kind of a land acquisition. And we have been always paying very handsomely for land acquisition in Tamil Nadu. But as on now, there is only a plan. There is only a decision to initiate a survey, initiate an investigation. And the authority and the consultancy which Airport Authority of India is using are very competent people. They are internationally renowned agencies to find out where an airport should be existing at a particular place. And I can assure you, all your concerns will be taken care of when the study progresses. It is a techno-feasibility study. Actually, it is techno-economic feasibility study. So what you are saying at this moment is what exactly is being examined. The ICO is examining whether there is a need for a second airport. They are also trying to examine what should be the canvas of the second airport. They are also trying to find out whether it will be able to gel with the current airport, and they are also looking at some long-term plans. How will be the aviation scenario 20 years hence? What will be the requirement for passengers as well as for cargo? And after considering all this only, an economic plan will be prepared, a technical plan will be prepared, and also it's a socio-economic study, so the sociology of the area, the people who will be replaced, all that will be taken care by the study itself, and then only an action plan will be put to place.
Well, in other news, Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi has said his government will pay for the medical treatment of law student Ashok Kumar, who reportedly suffered injuries while being questioned by the police. The student from the Dalit community was detained after an incident. His condition, though, now is said to be critical. Shabir Ahmed spoke to his family.
இந்த பீஸ் கை ஃபஸ்ட்டு அது கிஞ்சி போயிருக்குது, பல்லு அடிப்பட்டு இருக்குது, நாக்கு அங்கே பாதி தையல் பட்ட மாதிரி இருக்குது, கிச்ச மாதிரி உதரெல்லாம் வீங்கிச்சிங்க, அப்படிலாம் இருக்குது. நான் வந்து கொத்தனார் வேலை தான் செய்து எங்கள் வீட்டுக்காரர் இறந்துட்டாரு, 3 மாதத்துக்கு குழந்தைகளை விட்டு இறந்தாரு.
At the Apollo Hospital in Chennai, law student Ashok Kumar is not showing signs of improvement. Reports say he was taken there for treatment for injuries caused during interrogation by the police. Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi stepped into the issue after the Madras High Court suggested that the state should pay for Kumar's treatment. In a statement, the Tamil Nadu government says, taking into account the economic background of the law student, Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi has ordered to release funds for his medical treatment from the Chief Minister's Relief Fund. The aid from the government is certainly a relief for Kumar's family. But Kumar's family would not forgive what it calls police torture, which landed him in hospital. The Dalit community is angry over the incident. Its members say police action against the student is an example of discrimination against them. With Shabir Ahmed in Chennai, J. Santosh for NDTV Hindu.
Well, that family there hoping for some good news. On to some political news. The AIADMK chief, Ms. Jayalalitha, today rubbished the government's free pump set scheme, saying it was a fallout of the DMK's anti-farmer attitude. Jayalalitha has said the scheme was not a new one, and it was in fact during her regime that a similar scheme was introduced, where pump sets were sold to farmers at a subsidized price. Jayalalitha ridiculed the tall claims of a 5-year implementation plan of the scheme, saying the farmers would not have to use electricity to that pumps. She said that instead of resolving the power crisis and water disputes in the state, fancy announcements like these would help no one. She also charged the DMK's men of depleting the groundwater levels by continual sand quarrying in the state. More news from the city. There was a sense of being threatened for the small-timers of Chennai. It was an attempt to make a loud statement by small vendors in the city as they gathered in large numbers to oppose the foreign direct investment in the retail sector. In a demonstration today, they demanded that the central government stop the inflow of FDI in the retail sector, as it would affect the livelihood of 8 crore people involved in this sector. Protesters claim that the big retailers would ruin their lives by taking over their businesses and their market share.
The UPA government is proposing to allow foreign direct investment in retail trade. If the FDI is allowed in retail trade, it will ruin the lives of 8 crores of people involved in retail trade.
Now, there's just a day more to go for the birthday baby, our city of Chennai, that turns 371. Tomorrow is Madras Day, so today we go back to where it all started, We bumped into heritage enthusiast Pradeep Chakravarti, who takes us through a trip down Paris, which was once upon a time known as Georgetown or Black Town.
Chennai's Kapalishwara and Parthasarathi temples may steal all the limelight, but tucked into the narrow lanes of the city's bustling Paris corner are the Chenna Kesava temple and the Chenna Malleswara temple, considered the official temples of Madras. But how did this come to be?
The East India Company was formed to get pepper for themselves at a cheaper price, but when they came down to Madras, they found out that cloth was even a more profitable thing to deal in. And they figured out that it's not enough for just having these kind of relationships with weavers. We need to bring them and settle them close to a place where we live so that we can look after them better. So there is very, very religious nature in the temple here. A lot of it was sheer economic sense of constructing a temple to encourage weavers to come and settle down.
That's not all. These temples, funded largely by the East India Company, have sculptures that bear testimony to its British connection.
Further down, you can catch, what I think is probably one of the few instances where you can see a pinstripe suit. I mean, the history of this temple, a lot of it has to do with the trade of cloth. And here's a gentleman who's wearing something that looks like a pinstripe suit. You can see the artist has tried to bring in that element of stripes over here.
The temples may not be very significant now, but in its heyday, it was a center of all activity. The pillars with their intricate unique carvings, the idols and statues may have grown old, but their splendor has hardly diminished. In Chennai, Nithala, NDTV Hindu.
Now, did you know that Madras was one of those stops in JRD Tata's inaugural flight to Karachi? But imagine Ananagar without any houses or a lake in Parktown. So if you want a glimpse of Madrasapatnam or the Madras that was, then the city centre mall is where you should head to. At the Hindu's photo exhibition, some of the city's golden moments are on display. These are the oldest pictures which made news and now give the present generation an idea of the city's culture. That exhibition is on till tomorrow. Let's listen in to some visitors and what they had to say about that exhibition.
It's a great opportunity to see all these pictures of past time. There are a lot of pictures of our past leaders, places. Really exciting to see the past Chennai in 1960s and 70s.
So make sure you catch those pictures at least tomorrow if you haven't attended that today. Now, up ahead on the bulletin, the Bhambri of the tennis world performs to the silver lining despite being the injured soldier. And claim your piece of the moon while you can. It surely is shrinking as we speak.